The lake where come the spirits of the forest. At the heart of a forest where no shod feet walk, where the long day's light is gleefully strangled by the leaflings as it attempts their pass, taught so by gnarled roots below, and e'en the moonshine by the space given her, there and no places else, and no seas mist the horizon interrupt, but the waves of nearby mountains. There is a dark lake, where come all the spirits of that forest upon New Season's Eve. Paddle ripples there are none, by hands that a glove would wear, its placid mirror pane disturbed only by rumours carried by wilful breezes, those and the cautious lappings of an heart. Upon sunset on the eve of winter's day will the moon rise to its east, and to its west set at winter's first dawn, by the let of the aloof far mountains, which at those points alone stand alone none to stop snowy summits from enclosing that forest around, that to the east is the gate of the rising sun, that to the west the postern of the setting moon, thoroughfares through a wall of imperial majesty, where oreads do dance, keeping all but the hallowed kind away. Into the startled newness of early night the moon casts its train before her, across the lake as an argent road, the only road befitting the glorious slow-stepped course she will take, and not alone taken. For a music as of scores of harps arising from around the lake's shores now wash over the still water as air over untrammelled drum, and the frigid leaves in the old great trees around its shore shiver in sensual reciprocity upon its tremors, fanning its eldritch sounds in canopy relay to herald the way the spirits may come, to that dark lake which alone may have intercourse with the moon at night, which now also echoes that tremor in the uncloudy airs above it. Come now, 'tis autumn's last night, and winter's first dawn in one moonlit festivity. Here they come, the lady spirits of the woods, naiads and dryads, forest nymphs whose long lustrous hair are dressed with flowers of the forest, which wildly streak aside their beautiful faces as undrawn curtains of snow on mountain's peak, their flower-like bodies clothed by the reflected light of the moon, to glow as does the skin of the moon they so adore. From the darkness held by the many shores' bowls they step, four across and scores deep in column, holding the hand of those beside them in row, with the constancy of innocent happiness shown by those new in school, the moon their class-dame. As one they step the same but once and stop, to turn their heads a beat one way, then step as one the same once more, but stop again, to turn their heads now the other way, seeking to see who by the shores remain since their last parade the season afore, the dark green ferns, proud lilies, forest orchids, flowerings of autumn's making only, and those shy button flowers too recluse to find but by seeking bees, yet to those ethereal ladies of the woods and the many waters, they cup them in their fingertips and whisper to them close all day, with tears rolling down their cheeks as rain upon a flower's petal. Across the argent road given by moon's reflection, they thus parade by one step and turned gaze the same across the lake's unmoving face. For no matter their earthly make, they are more of light than of earth's shade, and so sink not into the lake when so paved by moon's way shown, but as like the moon's light, their presence upon its waters is as a glimmer and a flittering silhouette in one, which, as would wavering ripples, break the light of that holy highway which no others have the beauty to step on. And so, at each stop and turn to look, the music from upon the shores heightens in its melancholic fascination, for want of them, for their beauteousness, for their tremendous powers, and for their will to destroy viciously whatsoe'er dare stand between them and what they love. And from upon the opposite shore, as shadows liberated from the trees there stood, another caravan comes, also in rows four across, columns of fauns and satyrs, who in one step the same pace once and stop, their purposed legs rigidly ranked, to step once and stop again, their gazes ever upon the ladies on the moon's road over the lake ahead. And their undressed bodies no shadow will cast upon their moonlit way, as they march in such wise across the lake, ever nearing the nearing of those forest nymphs, stepping to them as they to them. The harp's hues ascend, yet their timbre deepen, by the mingling now of many flutes, which glide along the harmonies of the harps as shiny lips across shiny nipples, to make the one pleasure spent. And in such step their columns pass alongside through those of the ladies, and upon each step and stop their ranks make 8 across, and each of one side kiss the waiting lips of she and wild he on to other, a step for a kiss, and a kiss with a willing other the next, until by such paused kissing they arrive as one sex alone among the harps and many flutes on the opposite shore, to want immediately to step their way back again in the same wise, just for the wonted kissings on a different other's lips again. But nay, many are the seasons in a world wanting no waiting sorrow. There are unsleeping flowers to greet again, and sleeping waterfowl to gaze quietly upon, lest a night beetle on a single feather step, and while those of furred legs wind their pipes as they dance around the lake's shore, and grow ever longer in their lusty want of nymph climb and climbings, they of leaf and water bow their ruby-pointed breasts as their dears they bend to kiss, and some nymphs there then stay, now as a moonlit dew upon a flower's red-turned petals, and there on such beds whisper one to another unto winter's first dawn, as lovers from upon one rested pillow to another. And so music's airs rustle in the leaves, and nymphs now race the moon's road to show her breasts to her dears on the other shore, and her waist parentheses show to eager the air's music, and the dryads clasp and entwine themselves around their favourite bowls in the secret hue of night-time shadows, and there writhe as they will while dancing with her nature's fellow. But some naiads there from the water come, and, amusing pythons' shapes, their dryad friends they know, they trap against sleek bowls by the shore, whose warty ruffs will not kiss a welt, and those naiads coil slowly all about their bodies, as hands that fondle with a purpose, whose silken intimation is known, but not yet performed. And no matter their struggle, those dryads find themselves overcome by the goal of those slick, persistent bindings. Around their wrists and arms they stay, giving no hurt but an unrespondable pleasure in being unable to return it, and other pythons around their ankles and thighs they secure, until those bound dryads' sinewy throats they show by arch, for the slitherings now across them. So those water spirits may access undisturbed the lacquered pursings of all their lippy softs, and with deft tongues gently flay and flay again, each of them all at once. And when their captives' callings for more again and more after that challenge the hearing of the ecstatic music abound, their mouths they across will gag, or put to other purpose with a muffled cry of purpose met by the delight of not stopping it. Others there by the lake kept seen, those to have this season their turn to gladden next spring's spoutings by what they do tonight. They the curtain of a lakeside willow will part to invite satyrs into her tent, and by the lean then on one willow's side, like as a strong gusting now breathes upon it from within, show the way her long hair now does flow, as by two then it is used. The last of autumn's dew now moists that willow's long hairs, and others, nymphs and hornies like, come to stand half within its outer curtain, as with it they e'er sway a dance, with its oily yet firm hairs moving with them contrary across the placed undulations of their bodies, as they watch the making of next spring's joys, the feast for all by one dance of many kinds. There, in festivities reigning, is a place left on its own. There where is the only place it may be so alone, where the eldest oak reach out its hands gloved in leaves over the lake the longest, and upon that ever shade on the water cast, where no creature goes and returns, sits the potentate of death upon the olive-tinted water, as like a single flame upon the wet of a candle, which burns none but consumes all, a fabric known to all by its wearing, yet on earth alone is not of earth or air or water, but balances all upon the fulcrum of life's weighing. There it stands, ever alone yet greeted by all, pointing to where the moon now nears its zenith, as the zephyrs yet carry music's life echoes. As long as the stars' lights are seen shone, unwavering in a darkness of their own making upon the objects of their own willing, does that single-speared flame shine without ever being seen. But when the moon's mist it shows its pointing, once does that still flame waver, fleetingly, as it would to shake away a plea whose welcome is not yet come, and upon that very moment the argent bridge of moon's making across the lake is broken at its loamy shores, foreseeing naught now but that flame's peak, and not its curved stance. And so now its paving of the lake will be lain but as one flame's glow, which, as death itself, ne'er spans all at once. Blessed are those beings startled to their remain stranded from the shores, for their argent path extend no longer from the shore they stepped from unto the shore they were wont to step to, and as on an island of light they now stand alone upon the lake. Naught but a water they must sink in, should they leave their light-bound place, the only holiness that silences all gaiety. For it is now the middle of the night, ended now is autumn, and the only authority now be winter's, a rule even the all-forest marks, the democracy of all, under all, to which they all give and from which they all take, the one which speaks and acts for the forest as one, but holds the power of it all. And the all-forest's voice now is the ending of the music over the lake and through the trees, and everyone's tongues return to their caves, and there, concealed by now closed lips, all the nymphs come stand around the shore, and the fauns and satyrs among them, in a silence that speaks of moon's presence, where there is nothing but its language to hear. But a gentle zephyr, to which e'en death's flame now does dance this night, ripples the lake from shore to island of light, and from that stark shore it ripples back, not lessened in its imperative, sent forth by the airy words of those blessed spirits, telling those stranded on the island of light they were loved and are loved, and in this forest by them will they be loved until nothing of the forest is left on earth. Ripple more now the lake, for the thousands of tears falling as it were winter's first lazy rain, and those stranded on that isle of moonlit water turn each to the other, touching each other's body and leaving none of each untouched, while from the shores the fairy voices of faun, satyr, naiad, and dryad sing in great harmony on the all-forest's behalf. I love thee unto the end of time, words whose meaning are given by them into the lasting of nature. And when those stranded nymphs and those crowned by knobby horns finish with their kissings and fondlings, unto vapour they dissolve by death's transmutation this night. As one by their touching joined do they dissolve into droplets, but as a myriad they then remain, close above the lake as a cloud of moonlight. But ere all warmth of life leave them, as a mist they rise moonward, the one light they now may know, and the moon gives them welcome praise, and higher now the others do sing, as by their new spectrumed lights they frame the moon as that rare moon rainbow, and round the moon a tawny halo glow, as her obit to those who linger, as misty droplets alone, the moonlight their only state of knowing. Now is the time for long winter prayer, and the airs over that lake still, as by death's present threat. No forestine creature fly, nor stir a foot among the moon shadows, nor climb, lest chime a leaf. All sound be silenced as by death's mimic, so that into the moon's crystal whisperings, hearable now in those fairy ears as a ringing harmony between day's sunlight and life yet to be, the fairies, all gathered around that lake, chant the words of ending and chant the words of making into the keeping of the all-forest, names spoke through unmoving lips, whose meanings are of what was, what is, and what is to be of this night winter long, vouchsafing the work of spring's undoings, that even now is waiting presently within that blessed knell of the moon, to be foresawn by the sun, as speaking into ether that knows no waste by its record there. They speak not, but their large eyes ever gaze a trance before them, a fey unblinking viewing of nature's reign held by none, yet held in all time, by nature's own knowing of it all, by its investiture in time's holdings, the origin of everything incorporeal, that so strings everything else as that all across all time. But they move their bodies with a slow-moving grace, as there they stand, as were the language spoke in their minds, into the all-forest's own as keepings, an act which the all-forest must know, but will warrant only in turn. For by the mirror of the lake all is reflected which only already was, and that truth from such distant origin show its meanings as promises kept enow, changed but by water's earthly translation, the necessary bonding of all harmonies throughout the whole of time's passed creations. So they all dance where they be presently stanced in their prayers, and as like flowers all comes to them in their motionless movings. By that movement all share in the sharings, and they count by naming everything that this winter shall die, and they count by naming everything that this winter shall live, and they count by naming everything that this winter shall change, and they count by modal truth all that which must change not. Their preternatural chantings echo through the coming frosts and snow, and long dark days a season, where more will move in their fractured sleeping than move in their anxious wakings. Movements in the year's stillnesses towards winter's waking into spring. To its post-turn the moon moves its purpose, as like those fairies' mentor in that reflection's kind, earth's present activity as earth's past, that may be shown only under darkness's veil, whose figures signify only what the sun did foresee, and whose curtained acts bespeak the affirmation of future light's reveal. Ever those misty droplets hanging as a veil for moons showing, know their belonging by where their autumn's warmth did come. Yet in their fealty to her, the only light in such state they may know, they return at winter's calling, but by her paced example alone, a bearing given by their elevation. The argent road the moon restores across the welcoming lake, the only road the sun ne'er may see, lest all necessary reflections as a co-present confusion be joined, wherein each light but takes the others without a horizon's let or jurisdiction. Still those spirits of the forest remain in the company of the lake, and as breathlessly they pray yet into winter's thoughts of sleep as dreams into night's day. Never they still the gesturing of their moonlit bodies, for in the wonted rest of winter is all restless motion given its move. But even as the moon now kiss the horizon, they then their winter chanting shake, as the wont of snow when ready to leap off a leafy perch, and spying the moon with the horizon, they all hasten around the shore, each kissing the other to relish more of the same, when by the lake they come together again as one, when a winter's night also be the eve of spring. Hasten, spirits, for the gate of the sun emblazons in its wont to know whom the moon does kiss, and it may not shine where the light of dreams show its way. Swiftly now the fairy spirits into the moon's remaining shadows depart, before, as soon it does, the sun's turn of light changes the world into what it knew of it yesterday, the same, but for the world's remembrance of its dreamings while it was away, and so shines the moon by the precedent of the sun. Alone soon one dryad remains by the shore, her back now given to the moon's falling crown, as the sun she lets make diamonds of her tears. For those changed by death's flame into winter's vapour now have set on the lake as its thin shroud, lighted by a different lord. And timidly now the day's music ventures across its sightless face, as would wayfarers in a cemetery where one in mourning cries near a grave. Her enchanting beauty is as a hypostasis of soft-lit nature, softly undisturbed, and by that lack of rancor's intent make as much petition as it receives. But this winter morning at distance she appears, as the source of dawn through yon mountains is distant yet present there. And as those far snow-capped mountains, her visage melts easily under the sun's present rays. And so thus she lingers there, until the sun has given her kindred's passing unto the all-forest's provision. A vapour unto a vapour unto a vapour, and to each of them her farewells are spoke into the sunlight as a scribed flow down the slate of her undulated cheeks, the snow-drink of next spring's smiles.